So today I'm going to demonstrate how to overclock the PC, which is Hikoki does not use by wireless. So I don't have to be physically standing here in front of my PC to do all the overclocking. And all the overclocking settings that I'm going to have, okay, so I'm going to launch this web browser. So basically, this is a web browser from Safari. I've created a bookmark very easily. So here's the login screen, and I need to punch in my password because I don't want any one of you to touch my PC. So I just log in with my password. So okay, so with this Cloud OC, I'm able to monitor all the status of this PC running, and of course by the tuner, I'm able to change all the settings from vCloud, from memory multiplier, from CPU multiplier, and even the voltages of the system. So it's basically just using like EasyTune 6. So right now I'm going to do a very quick demonstration. So let's say if I want to beat Hikoki's record, like changing the B clock to 240, and before I click the glow, or maybe you can focus on here. So I punch the glow, and you can see that actually the B clock has been changed on my system right here. So I'm able to have a very high performance, just like Hikoki. Right.
You're using an Apple iPad there. I use a HTC phone. Will it work on HTC?
Yes, definitely. Any of the web browsing capability devices.
Okay. So even a netbook, notebook, it'll all work?
Yes.
All work. Okay, thank you, Roxanne.
All right, thank you.
Right. Now, for overclockers, the practical application for this would be a lot of the benchmarks that you run require you to run them in the full screen mode. Right? That's how you run the graphics benchmark. So this tool would allow you to monitor your settings. You could even look at your CPU temperature, your fan speeds, anything like that. You could monitor remotely from a netbook next to your overclocking rig. So quite a good practical use for it there. Right. Another place where Gigabyte is number one, or first to market, was on-off charge. When they launched the iPad, there were a lot of stories, a lot of articles in the news about not being able to charge it from a standard USB 2 port. So we introduced some software, and later on we included a feature on our motherboards. And today I just want to highlight what makes our solution a little bit better from other solutions that are out there. First, it provides faster charging by increasing the amount of current that can go to the device. In this example, we're using an iPhone, and a standard port would provide around about half an amp, 500 milliamps. And Gigabyte, well, you can see it's a little bit more. It works on iPads. In this situation, it's charging at 1.73 milliamps. Sorry, 1.73 amps. Okay, move on. The key feature is off charge. So with Gigabyte, we provided an additional little USB header on the motherboard, and it's clearly marked in white, and it's got a red background. And we chose to use a header and not make it physical ports in the I/O panel at the back, because you can connect this to the front USB ports on your PC. So the most practical ports for charging your iPhone. Other solutions don't offer this. You have to have your PC running when you connect your iPhone for it to be recognized. So the scenario is you come home from work, your home PC is shut down because you care about the environment and you're not just leaving it on all the time. And you can connect your iPhone to it and go to bed. Whereas the USB port will provide around about 500 milliamps. We've tripled that to 1500. And USB 3 would be 900 milliamps, and we provide 2700 with 3x power. It's not just the software feature this. We've actually made some improvements to the motherboard design. This is your power connector, and these are the traces that run to your USB ports. We've actually reinforced those traces, so there's less resistance along that route. We're also using higher quality fuses, and every USB port has one fuse. I mention this because normally it's 2 ports for 1 fuse. So if that fuse goes, then 2 ports won't be able to work. But with Gigabyte, every single port has its own fuse. And this basically reduces the impedance. So that means that each port is actually putting out 5 volts. Right? There's no loss over there. Yeah. Onto USB 3, another area where Gigabyte is number one. When we introduced our USB 3 motherboards, also towards the end of last year, we set out to become number one in this for these motherboards, because we feel a number of reasons. We feel that USB is the world's most commonly used connectivity interface. If you compare it to, say, FireWire and eSATA, one of the main reasons for this is that USB is always backwards compatible. USB 3 is backwards compatible with USB 2 and 1.1. And it's foreseeable that in the future, USB will grow in popularity because more companies are using it for charging devices or powering devices. So, USB. We've been enjoying the Windows 7 upgrade cycle since the end of last year. And there's no better time to introduce a new technology than when people are upgrading their motherboards. So the opportunity is now to have USB 3. USB has fantastic brand recognition. Anywhere in the world and any market segment, high and down to entry level, everybody knows USB. My mom knows USB. If I give her a USB device, she'll look at it, she recognizes it, she knows where to put it in the PC, she knows to go to my computer and she'll see what documents are on that USB device, right? It's very recognizable. And if I ask my mom, would you prefer USB 3 or USB 2 when she's doing an upgrade, she would know USB 3 is better than USB 2. Very simple. Now's the time. USB 3 also provides Gigabyte with an opportunity to differentiate ourselves from our competitors. USB 3 is not in the chipsets that we're using at the moment, so this is still something that can make our motherboards deliver better value to our customers. And it's also an opportunity for industry leadership, like Henry was talking about earlier. So we were first to market with USB 3 motherboards. We were first with Windows 7 certification on a USB 3 motherboard. We were first to ship 100,000 USB 3 motherboards, first to 1 million. And we've also started a website called usb3motherboard.com. This is a community website where we help other USB 3 vendors to promote and market their products. Gigabyte also has the biggest range of USB 3 motherboards. Here pictured is the UD9, the X58 UD9, which is the biggest USB 3 motherboard in the world. And next to it we have the H55N USB 3, which is the smallest USB 3 motherboard in the world. Right? At the moment we have 35 models, and they go from the very high-end X58 right down to G41. Yeah, we have a G41 USB 3 motherboard. Every market segment there's an option to have a USB 3 motherboard. If we go to the USB IF website, IF is the Implementers Forum. They have a section for compliance. So this is where they test the products and certify them for super speed USB. 78% of the super speed USB certified motherboards are from Gigabyte. If that doesn't say we're number one, then I don't know what does. If you look at our sales, we introduced them around about Q4 last year, and there was steady growth. In Q1 there was a big jump. This is when we put our we introduced USB 3 onto our H55 motherboards. So it went down into a more mainstream segment. That's why there's a big jump over there. And we foresee continued growth in Q3 and maybe slightly faster growth towards the end of Q3 when a lot of the devices that are being launched here at Computex will make their way into the market. So this is our community site. It's usb3motherboard.com. And we've got a section here for USB 3 devices. So these are some of the partners that we're working with. OCZ, WD, AData, Charcoon, Lassie, Super Talent, Thermaltake, Transcend, Vantech, and Buffalo. We have some of their devices over here. Sorry, I'll just step in front. This is the external drive blade from Lassie. We have the first hub, USB 3 hub. This is from Buffalo. And then we have one of the fastest USB 3 devices from Super Talent. The Enyo from OCZ, and also a little thumb drive from AData. Just to show you some of the devices that we have. These are all on show right next door. We have a USB 3 tech zone where all these device vendors are displaying their products. So if you feel that there's no USB 3 in your territory, go and speak to them. They'll tell you about pricing, about when it's going to be available. We also develop these little logos to help other vendors promote their products and show that there are platforms for them. And these are some examples of where it's being used.